Neon Genesis Evangelion has a really weird dubbing history, and a very controversial one for the English dubs. In this video, we will be focusing on the English dubs for the original series, including its 2 movies, and for the rebuild of Evangelion dubbing history. From my understanding, a lot of anime does appear to go undubbed in English. Now, I prefer to watch dubs, although sometimes I will have to watch an anime subtitled or just skip the anime entirely because an English dub doesn't exist. I tried to figure out a rough percentage of anime that gets an English dub, but I kept getting dramatically different numbers for the number of anime that exists and for the number of dubs that exist. And a lot of these numbers were also outdated, so let's just say, for the sake of argument, that a lot of anime doesn't get dubbed. Now that we agree a lot of anime doesn't get an English dub, imagine how many anime get 2 or more English dubs. For an anime to have more than 1 English dub, 2 of the following needs to happen. The anime is very popular, the original dub is of poor quality, the distribution and licensing rights in English/English-speaking territories changes or is messed up. Now, you don't need to hit all 3 of these, but from my research, you do need to at least hit 2 of them. Not too many anime out there get to have more than 1 English dub. I found an old thread from 2007 on animesuperhero.com forum discussing the topic. The anime that got more than 1 English dub that were listed by the users were Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Gatchaman, Giant Robo, One Piece, and a few others. So this is a rather rare thing, because out of hundreds of anime that exist, we can only name a few that get a redub. And it makes sense to why this is a rare thing. I mean, why would you go out of your way to spend more money doing another English dub? Now, I know next to nothing for the reasons behind most of these redubs, besides for One Piece. One Piece's original English dub was done by every dub fan's arch nemesis: 4Kids. If you have ever argued in the favor of dubs, you have definitely heard the name 4Kids brought up in the discussion. 4Kids was infamous for dubbing anime badly and censoring and taking some creative liberties with the original script to adapt it for an American audience. Okay, so One Piece is this super popular anime, it gets a terrible and inaccurate English dub, 4Kids loses the rights, and then it gets redubbed by a more respected group. Get the picture? Now, let's talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion and the dubbing history for the original series. The 26-episode series was dubbed by ADV Films. The original released from 1996 to 1998 on VHS. It was made on a tight budget, it was made with substandard equipment, and the dub was even supposedly transcripted from fan translations online. At least according to Tristan McCavery, the first English voice actor for Gendo Ikari. The dub is criticized for its imperfections, but it has its hardcore defenders who think the imperfections add to the experience and that the dub has a charm to it. Some side characters do provide some awful and awkward performances. Toji's voice actor apparently changes 3 whole times throughout the first dub. The English dub also adds sound effects that wasn't present in the original Japanese airing, so if you want the dub to be as faithful to the original as possible, there's that. The main cast, however, do provide some solid and at times iconic performances, arguably the most notable being Spike Spencer's unscripted rant at the end of episode 26 as Shinji Ikari.
Okay. I mustn't run away. Okay, I got that. Good. Okay. Now, if I were to run away, let's analyze that. Where the fuck would I go? I'm on a big blue ball.
Tiffany Grant's portrayal of Asuka is also heavily beloved by fans and also appears to have influenced the portrayal of Asuka in the Netflix dub. The Netflix dub apparently tried to keep the English voices as close to the original Japanese, but not for Asuka though. Later down the line, a few years later in 2004, Evangelion had become one of ADV's most successful dubs. And with the release of director-cut versions of Evangelion episodes, they were now tasked with dubbing these new episodes. But since some time had passed, some cast members couldn't be present like Tristan McCavery, so Gendo got a new voice actor for the whole show. With the director cut episodes releasing, they took this opportunity and fixed some errors with the whole series and had some characters recasted. For example, Toji had 3 different voice actors in the original dub, and in the director's cut version, he just had 1. Now here's the weird part. Well, a weird part. There's a lot of weird things to be discussed in this video as we go on. But ADV Films didn't dub and distribute the full original series. They only dubbed and distributed the TV series, not the movies. The movies were dubbed and distributed by Manga Entertainment. They appeared to have acquired the rights in 1999 and didn't release anything until 2002. They kept the main original cast mostly intact. The original voice actors for the pilots and Masato stayed. Gendo stayed the same, although that's kind of weird since in 2004, ADV changed his voice actor in a TV show. So if you watch the full TV show with the director's cut dub and then watch End of Evangelion, it's a different guy in the End of Evangelion. But if you watched the original version of the dub, you're all good. It's the same guy. It's such a mess. It only gets messier too from here on out. Also in 2002, before Manga Entertainment released The End of Evangelion, they released Evangelion Death and Rebirth, or Death True Squared, or whatever you want to call this freaking movie. Now, what makes this interesting is Death and Rebirth is in the style of a clip show, so basically it's a supercut of the full series that retells the whole story in an hour. It reuses most of the TV show's animation, but due to the licensing, they had to have the voice actors redo all of the lines they had already recorded. And before someone points out in the comments, yes, I know Death and Rebirth contains original animation and some scenes completely redone, but the point still stands that the lines for almost everything in the movie were already recorded years prior. And because of the weird licensing, they had to redo all of those lines. From what I can see, all of the End of Evangelion and Death and Rebirth actors stayed the same in the two movies. So far, we've seen characters crucial to the story swap voice actors multiple times. Kaworu has had 3 different voice actors so far. So far. Funimation is a titan in the American anime industry. They dub and distribute so many anime to America. They actually dub anime really fast, like 2 weeks after the episodes get broadcasted in Japan. Now, they are controversial. They've been known to change the meaning of lines in the dubs, sometimes even in the subtitles, to be more Americanized, and sometimes they'll just add shit that just flat out doesn't exist in the Japanese.
Have you got a stick up your ass? Or are you one of those dumbass Gamergate creep shows?
Now, that's not what people want. People want to see the translation and localization as close to what the original Japanese creators intended. Now, obviously, that's not entirely possible. The way dubbing works is different from how subtitling works. With subbing, you only need the translation. With dubbing, you need to take the translated line, but you also need to make it match the character's mouth flaps. That's why if you've ever been on Netflix with English subtitles on with the English dub, it doesn't match completely. Different words are being spoken that roughly match what the original subtitles say. Now, as we will discuss later, people will always argue about the translation and how it could have or should have been done differently. But anyways, back on track. Funimation appears to, at one point in time, obtained the rights to dub the whole series of movies, or at least planned to dub all the movies by buying the rights for each and every movie. Now, that didn't happen, but they did do the first 3. Funny kept a few of the voice actors from the ADV dubs. This includes Spike Spencer as Shinji, Tiffany Grant as Asuka, Allison Keith as Misato, but some people didn't return, like Amanda Lynn Lee as Rei, or so we thought. Keep this in mind, this will be very important later on down the line. So the dubs go according to plan, but then the 3rd movie comes out. Funny would then run into some issues. You see, the 3.0 dub didn't come out on DVD and Blu-ray until 2016, about 4 years after the movie was released in Japan. This is because Kara didn't like the original dub they did and wanted it closer to their vision. Now, in my opinion, the funny dubs were solid. They didn't have any bad performances. The performances range from decent to outstanding. I fucking love the Funimation voice actress for Mari so much. She knocks it out of the park every time she's on screen, man. But wait, why did I say Funny's Mari? Well, we will get to that, but first. In 2019, new dubs for multiple languages of Neon Genesis Evangelion and the original movies were released onto Netflix. For right now, we will just be focusing on the English dub. The Italian dub has a funny history in regards to their Netflix dub. I was originally going to talk about it here, but this video has gotten too long, and now I just want to focus on the English dubbing. If this video does well, I'll probably talk about it in another video. Anyway, since the 1990s, the English anime dubbing scene had matured since then, and since Evangelion was now a titan of the anime industry, and arguably the most important anime ever made, it just made sense to redo the whole dub. Studio Kara picked out a brand new cast and they provided the translation. It is unknown to what extent they had control over the project, but judging by what happened with Funny's 3.0 dub, they obviously had gotten stricter. For one, the legendary Fly Me to the Moon cover that played at the end credits of each and every episode was removed from the worldwide release due to copyright issues, although it's still remade if you watch the series on Netflix in Japan or use your VPN to change your location to Japan, which this video is sponsored by No, I'm just kidding. I wish I was sponsored by them. Make sure to drop a fucking like, sub. Another reason it was controversial was because of supposed quote-unquote queer erasure. Now, this is just completely untrue, as the bath scene is left completely intact and the homosexual undertones are still there. The whole controversy relates to the word love in the original dub being changed to like. I'll be doing a video essay in the future defending the entire Netflix dub. While it has its issues, it has some of the best performances in a dub I've seen, and it is the superior dub compared to the ADV and Manga Entertainment dubs in my opinion. But for now, I'll just point out that Gainax asked ADV to use the same translation they used in the Netflix dub in the ADV dub. So if you're someone like me who wants the translation and localization and all that to be as close to what the Japanese intended as possible, there's that. And also, Evangelion was made to have a vagueness to it, so the audience could take what they want from it. So to make Shinji and Kaworu's relationship so explicit that you can only take away one thing from it would be against the philosophy that made the show so great in the first place. Now, Funimation did not do the final movie, although what I don't think anyone was expecting was for the whole series to be redubbed with the ADV and Manga Entertainment cast. We found this out a few days before the scheduled release on Amazon Prime. Now, people were wondering if they were going to redub the whole series or just have the final movie be done with the Netflix cast. Like or hate the Netflix dub, it would just only make logical sense for the brand new redub of Evangelion to be done with the cast they recently redubbed it with. You know, so the new fans who saw the original series with the new cast would also see the new movie with the new cast. But nope, people from the ADV and Manga Entertainment dub are returning. Even voice actors for minor roles like Toji. Amanda Wynn Lee, who has been vocally critical of the Netflix dub, finally gets to take back her role as Rei. Unfortunately, my goddess Mari will not have the same voice actress, and Kaworu has been given yet another new voice actor, making the total of English Kaworu voice actors now 6. 6 different voice actors for one character. At the time of writing this, the dub has yet to come out, so I can't be too critical and I'll have to rewatch the rebuild movies in full with the new dub at some point in the near future. I'll probably make a video giving my thoughts on it, although I just recently rewatched the entire series of movies with the funny dub to refresh my memory, since I'll be watching the new movie right when it comes out, and I don't know if I want to right away rewatch the whole thing again just to pick out differences in performances, translations, and mic quality. I'm a bit skeptical of the quality. I don't know how long they worked on the dubs of all the movies. I'm getting the feeling it might have been a bit rushed. The redubs were probably in the works before 3.0 plus 1.0 were even released, so we will see if this dub is an improvement or if it's worse. So we have been told details about the new international Blu-ray releases of Neon Genesis Evangelion. So far, we only know about the Perfect Edition. Other releases we will learn about soon. In this Perfect Edition, you will get both the Netflix dub and what's being called the Classic dub. Now, what's interesting is this is technically a 4th English dub, as some things will be changed. They are going to have to go back and remove Fly Me to the Moon from the credits and from this one scene where Hikari hums it. Or maybe they'll just forget to remove it from that scene and there will be a huge copyright war, who knows. Unfortunately, the Neon Genesis Evangelion Fly Me to the Moon covers are just in copyright hell, and it would cost too much, it'd be too much of a hassle just for an end credits theme, when just using the song Ray 1 works just as well. I know it sucks, I know it's disappointing, but a lot of you guys on Twitter and on Reddit, you guys are just getting too ass-blasted about such a small detail. I know it's a fantastic, legendary cover, but it's just an end credit song. I watched Evangelion without the Fly Me to the Moon cover, because I watched it on Netflix, and I mean, it sucks, but it's not that big of a deal. That's all I gotta say.